Hello and welcome, beautiful Pisces. How are you? I hope you are doing fantastic. I am Elena Valdez, and I'm here to do your July 2024 tarot reading. And I'm going to do a very simple spread. We're going to pull cards for the potential challenge, as well as the opportunity for joy this month, and we'll end it with an advice card. Actually, no, we will pull some advice cards, but we're going to end it with a yes or no answer to a question that you've been wanting a yes or no answer to. So start thinking about a question that you require a yes or no answer to for the end of the reading. And just a quick side note, beautiful Pisces, Saturn, the planet of responsibility and discipline and restriction and all those things, has been in your sign since March of 2023. And so for a lot of you, this has meant that Saturn has made you a bit more serious and maybe even dampened your emotions a bit more, or taught you how to use your emotions a bit more constructively. The reason I'm bringing this up now, even though Saturn went into your sign back in March of 2023, is because Saturn is about to go retrograde in your sign. And it's about to go retrograde from June 29th through November 15th of this year. And that's significant because what that means is that Saturn is going to spend a bit more time in your sign. So basically, a lot of the themes that you have gone through the past few months, they're going to be, it's almost as if Saturn is going to go back through your sign to make sure that things have been firmly done, if that makes sense. Now, here's the thing. How this affects you will strongly and heavily depend on whether or not it's your sun that's in Pisces, or your Venus, or your rising, or your moon, okay? So depending on what planets you have in the sign of Pisces is how this energy will affect you, and also what house the sign of Pisces is in. Now, of course, in order to know this information, you would have had to have had your astrological chart done, or natal chart reading at some point, which I am available for that. But if not, if you don't go to me, I don't care. I just want you to find out where these pieces of the puzzle are for you, Pisces, because this Saturn in retrograde, so for the next few months, from June 29th through November 15th of this year, that same energy that has caused you to slow down. So for many of you, you've become more serious in your business. You've become more serious in the work that you're doing. You've become more serious in how you show your affections. One of the things with Piscean energy, and one of the things why I love Pisces energy, is because they really do wear their hearts on their sleeves, right? Pisces energy is a very magical sign. It's pretty connected to the other side, where the veil is thinnest. There's a lot of intuitive people who are Pisceans, but because of this, Pisceans sometimes blur boundaries, right? And I know these are generalities. I understand that. But from an astrological perspective, because remember, I am an astrologer first and foremost, then a tarot reader. So from an astrological perspective, Pisces is very close to the psychic realm, right? Which is why Pisces can feel a lot. Like you can pick up things that other signs don't typically pick up. And you feel more, right? You also have the ability to feel more compassion than other people do. But you also have the ability to feel the emotions that are not so good, like envy, jealousy, hate, all the things that are not so great, right? Because you are deeply in touch with your emotion, right? So you have the ability to feel into things in a wide range of emotions. Saturn, however, Saturn sort of restricts and makes things a bit more logical and more serious, more tangible. So for many Piscean energies for the past year, you have felt almost even, some of you have felt repressed. Some of you have felt like you have not been allowed to express your emotions. And this can be due to certain circumstances happening in your life right now that have made you, or have quite literally made that happen. It could be in your living situation. It can be in your romantic situation. It could be with your children, with your family. It runs a gamut. For some of you, it's work, right? Again, it all depends on where this energy falls in your natal chart. But in any case, things are about to get maybe a little heavier here in the next few months while Saturn is retrograding there. And retrograde, by the way, what that means is that the planet is going backwards. So it's going to revisit the same spots that it's already gone through in that area of Pisces. Now, this whole reversal of going backwards is an optical illusion from the perspective of Earth. The planet Saturn isn't really going backwards. It just looks like it's going backwards, okay, from our perspective. The same thing when Mercury goes in retrograde or Venus goes in retrograde. It's the same thing. It's this illusion, which is another thing that I want you to keep in mind, is that illusionary sense of this planet going backwards. So some things, Pisces, that come up here between now and November may feel like they're maybe restricting you. Almost like that feeling of having you like on a chokehold, right? Like almost like you can't truly be yourself. But a lot of that is illusionary. A lot of that just seems to be more restrictive than it really is. Saturn also is connected with authority figures, okay? So for some of you, this may feel like in whatever area you have Pisces, whether it's your sun, your Venus, your rising, what have you, you may feel like an authority is sort of not allowing you to fully express yourself the way you can or want to. Now, on the other side of that, the positive side here is that Saturn can actually help you create boundaries in areas that maybe you haven't been very good at creating boundaries. And some of you have already started experiencing that from March 2023 onward. Now, Saturn is going to be in your sign till May of 2025. Okay, so we still have more of this energy happening and spilling into next year. But I thought it would be a good idea, considering this is a July tarot reading and this energy is starting at the beginning of July for you, this retrograde, just to let you know, because if you start feeling more restricted, if you start feeling like more boundaries have been put in front of you, for some of you, it will feel positive. For some of you, you'll like that. You'll like the discipline that Saturn feels, that brings to you. You'll like that things are getting done because Saturn is there to support you. But it also means it's going to restrict you. And I just want to bring this up to you, Pisces, because I just want you to know that it's temporary, that this will pass. Because for some of you, you may feel like you're not free to roam. You're not free to express your usual intuitive, emotional, artistic side, right? And this can happen in different ways. Like, it can be very positive. For those of you who have had beautiful daydream ideas or beautiful ideas of creating, because a lot of you are artists, a lot of you are musicians, a lot of you are creators, right? And now Saturn can actually come in and help you implement those things, because Saturn is the worker bee. Saturn makes shit happen. And sometimes Pisces is busy dreaming about what they can make happen. And that's the beautiful part of Pisces, is that they do create these beautiful things. And depending on and again, this is a generality, right? Because we all have a different chart. So if you are a Pisces who gets to execute and make things come to life, it's because you have a chart that allows that to happen, right? So in any case, whatever restriction you may feel here from now until November 15th, because these areas will be repeating. So any themes that you have had to feel more restricted or disciplined in the past few months, there's going to be a revision of that. or revisitation of those areas. So just know that this energy will pass, and you might as well take advantage of it, Pisces. So ask yourself, as heavy as this energy may potentially feel for some of you, how can you take advantage? How can you maybe utilize that Saturnian Sirius energy to give you groundedness and stability in some area of your life? And for a lot of you, this is going to translate and transfer into financial means, right? Because that's also Saturn. It's about stabilizing, security. So for many of you here, you're going to have the opportunity to create security. All right. With that said, enough about the astrology side. Let's pull some cards for the challenge here for Pisces, the month of July. This is so funny. You got the Hanged Muse, which is the Piscean card. And this is about really taking time out, to really pausing to reflect on things, Pisces. This is about pausing this month of July and really taking into consideration other people's perspective, but more importantly, pausing to make sure that you're not out of balance here, because you have the Temperance in reverse. And the Temperance upright is all about balancing the tangibles with your emotion. So you might have some conflict here in stabilizing the material with our heart, or the pragmatic, the logical with our heart. So that is what your biggest challenge is going to be here this month. And then you have the Ace of Inspiration. So I think the reason you may have this play with figuring out heart over mind over heart is because there is something new coming to the forefront here that's inspiring you. So you know what I'm feeling, Pisces? It's almost like you've been focused on something. You've been focused on something. And then all of a sudden, you're inspired by a new thing or something new, or a new opportunity that's driven in artistry, driven in inspiration, potentially love for some of you, not all of you. This could just be feeling inspired by a new hobby, or maybe like a new thing that now you're like, ooh, I want to explore that. What is that like? And so you're kind of fighting with yourself, because you're like, oh, I really want to try that new thing. I really want to do that. But how do I balance this other stuff that I've already been working on, these other tangible things, these other emotional things, whether it be your community, like maybe you're trying to balance your family with your work, and now this new thing that you found that you want to do, maybe a hobby for some of you. I don't know why I just heard slam poetry, which is random. So for some of you, it's like maybe you found a place where you can go watch poetry or listen to poetry, or you want to create it, and all of a sudden you have all these other things to balance. It's going to be different for all of you, okay? So just apply this how it best resonates for you. But in any case, the challenge here is going to be for you to pause and not judge yourself so harshly, because sometimes the muse here, the Hanged Muse, also known as the Hanged Man, is also about stopping the judgment, the inner self-sabotage, like allowing us the time and space to absorb the environment around us and assess, like, how does this work for me? And that's what you need to do during this time frame, Pisces. Like, really ask yourself, well, what is this new? Why am I all of a sudden inspired to do this new thing? Like, what is it about it? Or maybe you can figure out how to marry it or merge it into these other things, right? The Temperance doesn't need to be in reverse. You can flip this back up, okay? You can flip this back up by balancing all the things, or figuring out, giving yourself permission is what I want to say. Giving yourself permission by including all of these things in a way that's harmonious, that works for you and your environment and the people in it, okay? Now, Pisces, let's see what your opportunity for joy is here in the month of July 2024. What is the opportunity for joy for our beautiful Pisces? Opportunity for joy. We got the 9 of materials. That's beautiful. The 5 of inspiration. And the 3 of emotions. Ooh, this is all about working with other people. So we have 9 of materials, which is about this is all about making your dreams come true. This is all about, this is about summoning in all the tangible needs that you want and desire, okay? And not feeling guilty about it. You see how the imagery, she's like completely enjoying with no apologies. There's something here about giving yourself, I keep hearing Pisces, giving yourself permission, okay? You have an opportunity to do something that's going to bring you joy here. And it can potentially be tied to how you earn your income. But another thing about this, it's about your physicality, something to do with your body. It's almost like where you're taking your body to. But then you have the 5 of inspiration and the 3 of emotions. And this tells me that whatever this thing is that you want to access or that you know is going to bring you there's some kind of satisfaction here. But it means you working with other people on this or with them on this new venture and allowing everyone to bring their piece of the puzzle, right? Like their strengths to this. And you will encounter, Pisces, some people who are not so easy to work with. And that could be part of why there's a little like, I'm not sure that I want to do that. It's because something about this energy means that you may need to work with some personalities that maybe are not flowing as easily as you would like them to flow, right? So it's a little bit of like, I don't know, do I really want to do that? But here's the thing, your opportunity for joy is yes. Your opportunity, look how gorgeous that card is. Your opportunity for joy is to allow other people's strengths. And in some cases, their weaknesses. Sometimes we need to bring our weaknesses to the table to actually make something work. I know that sounds counterproductive, but it's not. Like sometimes it's in our weaknesses that we bring to the table and our strengths, right? It's like it's both because the contrast actually helps. If we bring our weaknesses to the table, then we know what the other people, the other teammates need to bring. We need to sometimes expose those weaknesses, right? And so this is a part of that too. Being willing to work with people that are flawed. That's a part of this. And understanding that it's not always going to flow as smooth as we want it, right? But there is huge opportunity here for you to have joy if you allow yourself to enter whatever this is, whether it's a hobby that you're entering into, a new job, maybe there's a new promotion. There's something here that's going to allow you to express a different side of you, but it is dependent on other people. And some of those people are not so fun. Okay, what's your advice? But you have something beautiful popping up here that's inspiring you. Also, this new inspiration thing, per this visual, feels like it's a unique idea that you came up with yourself. And you're also trying to figure out, do I want to share this with other people? But you're realizing you may actually need other people to bring this into fruition, even though it's an authentic, genuine, unique idea that you have. All right, so the advice, 7 of voices, death, and 5 of emotions. Yeah, so this is your advice. Look at this. Look at these. Gosh, can you see? I hope you can see. I'm still trying to figure out the camera situation and what you can see and what you cannot see. And then death. So your advice here is to transform something. To transform something. Okay. I'm getting 2, 3 messages here. Okay. Couple of things. Some of you are quite literally being advised not to talk about what you're working on, to keep it to yourself. Yes, you're going to need other people to bring this into fruition. Those are the people you can talk to about this. But some of you know that you have some naysayers that you don't actually want it. You know who they are, Pisces. So with this, it's about keeping it to yourself, transforming it in the way that you know needs to be transformed, and not allowing negativity with the 5 of emotions here to ruin that inspiration that you have going for you. And yes, you will still need to work with someone or something to help you bring it to fruition. Just make sure that you vet that energy before you fully divulge your ideas, okay? For another group of you, it's going to require that you work on this project like on the side. For some of you, this might be a side hustle or a side creative. And it's going to require you to sort of just do it on this and quietly transform it into something more. Like if it's a side hustle, for example, some of you, I'm getting to I have three scenarios here. The first one that I already spoke of, the one to keep it to yourself, and the other one is about working on it on the side or just kind of doing it on your own. For others of you with the Death card here in the middle and 5 of emotions, this is going to be very specific. This is definitely not going to apply for many of you, but this is about a pregnancy that didn't go well, and now you're being asked that when you try again to keep it to yourself. That is so specific. 7 of voices, death, and 5 of emotions. So for some of you that had a disappointment, and this is going to apply not just in pregnancy, potentially miscarriage, but this is also going to apply in a creative, something beautifully, something that basically pregnancy can be what we create internally, uniquely from ourselves, right? For some of you, this is about a pregnancy, literally about life, creating life, and it not having gone well or maybe having issues with that. And now you're being asked to transform that energy, leave that sadness behind. But a part of this is by sneaking your next try. In other words, keeping it to yourself. Some of you may have just keep it to yourself. If you continue to try, when it happens again, just incubate that, keep it to yourself, transform and transmute the old energy from that last failed attempt, whether it was a pregnancy or if it was a creative idea, project that you gave birth to or almost gave birth to, and it came to a halt. Whatever that is, this is very specific, Pisces. I know it's not going to apply to everyone. Remember, it's a general reading. So I'm going to pick up energy from different Piscean energy, okay? So for those of you that this applies, you will know it will resonate, okay? All right. With that said, I'm going to pull one oracle card from this deck here. Just one, Spirit for Pisces. What is the most important message that Pisces needs to hear from this particular deck? The most important message for Pisces for the month of July. Befriend the word polarize, which is interesting because Capricorn got this, and they are also dealing with the Saturn Pisces because Saturn rules them. They're dealing with that. So it's the same thing with you. This is about those two polar opposites, right? Of Saturnian, serious, grounded energy versus the Piscean emotional nature. It's about finding the middle ground between those two energies. I'm going to quickly just read the key words, just the essential meaning. That's it. Display of your inner truth. Bravery to share your personal flavor and your true opinions. Movement toward a goal. Opposing forces. transitions, growth, taking a stand, and personal empowerment. I am focusing on the what keeps pulling me is opposing forces, okay? For some of you here, remember how we're being advised, or there's an opportunity for joy to work with others. You're going to encounter some opposing forces there, but you're being advised to keep going. Even if it means that you may need to be a little bit more strategic with the advice here, you need to maybe be more strategic and kind of doing things kind of on the side if you need to for a little bit a while before you can bring it into the group. It'll make sense if it's meant for you. All right, now let's pull up a yes or no answer to a question that you have. So Pisces, think of the question. I will pull a yes or no answer for you. All right, for Pisces, is it a yes or is it a no? Is it a yes or is it a no for Pisces? It's a no, and it's brought to you via the devil. So that tells me that the reason it's a no is because potentially if it were yes, it would bring some kind of toxic energy, some kind of depression, potentially dependency, obsession, materialism, some kind of addiction. Now, obviously, it's not going to be that heavy for everyone, but the bottom line is that it's a no, and it's a no to protect you and others involved. All right, beautiful Pisces, I hope this was helpful for you. And if it was, please subscribe, comment, do a little thumbs up on the like. That really helps my channel a lot. And I hope this was helpful for you. And if it was, I hope to find you back here for the mid-month reading, as well as the cross-watcher reading, and then next month. All right, bye.